Hey guys, what's going on? So with the release of Doc Ock, I'm going to redo the legendary character farming guide, just so I have a more up-to-date list out and about for you guys. So we're going to start off from, the latest releases to the first ones. So we're going to go Doc Ock, Ebony Maw, Black Bolt, Invisible Woman, Phoenix. Basically we're going to go descending from how they were released. So Doc Ock requires X-Force. We have our 5 X-Force characters right here. Your easiest farm will probably either be Deadpool or Domino. It depends on how well you do in Blitz. Domino is only in Blitz Orbs. You can't actually get her from the Blitz store, which sucks. But Deadpool's in the Arena store. Basically, I would assume that if I were new to this game and farming characters, I would assume that your campaign characters are going to take you the longest to farm, followed then by Arena, Raid, War, and then followed by Blitz. Blitz is the easiest store to farm from. That's if you have access to those characters in the store, which Domino is not. So she's in Blitz Orbs, but I would still argue that she's probably the easiest to get. But Deadpool's in the Arena store. Cable is in War and a campaign node. Negasonic is in a node, and then X23 is in the War store. I have these in the order that I think would probably be the easiest farm or the most consistent to farm. I do think Domino is easier to get, but this is more consistent at least. I will say Cable you should only farm from nodes unless you are really close to getting him to 5 stars. Then you should maybe purchase him a couple times in the War store, but for the most part you should stick with him in the campaign nodes. So that's pretty much it for Doc Ock. There's no really variation you can do with this. Hopefully we get more X-Force characters and hopefully more end up in the Blitz store or something, so it makes it a little bit easier for all of us. Next up we have Ebony Maw. So Ebony Maw requires Black Bolt and 4 other Inhumans. One of the Inhumans is currently unfarmable. She's in Premium Wars, but that's not consistent enough. So this 1 through 5 is who you're going to want to use. Obviously Black Bolt because he's required. But Quake and Crystal are both in the Arena store, and then Karnak and Miss Marvel are in campaign nodes. Pretty easy farm other than, requiring Black Bolt. Technically, Ebony Maw requires Asgardians in 2 as well, just because you have to use them to unlock Black Bolt. It sucks, but yeah, this is who you're going to want to use. Don't worry about Yo-Yo. This is pretty much who you can only use unless you want to whale out a lot for Yo-Yo. So yeah, it really wasn't too bad of an event for Ebony Maw, so I don't think you really need to level them up super crazy high, but yeah, these characters seem pretty easy to farm. I will say Karnak, I believe, is he in Nexus? He's in Nexus 7, which will take you guys a while to get through if you're new to the game, but hopefully Crystal and Quake are easy enough for you to unlock. Next up we have Black Bolt. Black Bolt requires Asgardians. Currently there are only 5 Asgardians in game, so we have Thor, Heimdall, Sif, Loki, and Hela. Thor is in the Raid store / Raid Orb. Heimdall is in the Arena store. Sif is in the War store. Loki is a campaign node, and so is Hela as well. Hela, I believe, is in Villains 7, if I'm remembering correctly. So Thor will probably be your easiest farm, just because Raid, I think the Raid store is easier just because you have the option of orbs and you kind of get Raid orbs as you go along. There are a lot of characters in the Raid store that are used for legendaries or for those monthly events such as Payday and Block Party and all that stuff. So if you're new to the game and don't know really where to focus, I would say go Raid orbs. Same with Blitz, go Blitz orbs for those two, but Arena and War, you have to be pretty consistent on what you're going for. And then, Loki and Hela are in campaign nodes. Loki, I believe, is still in Mystic. I don't think they've moved him. I don't remember correctly. I've had him 7-starred for a while. But yeah, Thor, Heimdall, and Sif will probably be your easiest farm, and then it'll take you a while to get to Loki and Hela's node. But yeah, this is who's required, no variation. So next up, I believe we have Invisible Woman. So Invisible Woman requires Sinister 6. So the easiest 5 to farm are the original 5 that were in this game. We have Rhino, Mysterio, Vulture, Green Goblin, and then Shocker. If you don't feel like farming, let's say, Shocker or Green Goblin, which are both in campaign nodes, you can wait to unlock Doc Ock. I would probably personally not recommend that just because it will take you a while to get a 7-star Doc Ock. But yeah, Rhino is in the Blitz store, the easiest farm in the game. Mysterio's in Raid store / Raid Orbs, and then Vulture's in the Arena store. I will say with the Arena store, as someone, I've recently just put out a video of 900 days. As someone who's been playing 900 days and who has recently, since the second release of Black Bolt, been in the top 100 in Arena, I still have not finished the Arena store, so you have to be laser sharp with who you go for in that store. You really can't dilly-dally with it. But for the most part, these 5 are definitely who I would recommend. If you want to wait to get a 7-star Doc Ock, you can. Again, I wouldn't recommend it. And then we have Swarm and Electro. They're new to the game, so they're not farmable. Hopefully we get Swarm in the Blitz store. I know sometimes campaign characters that are released through campaigns, such as like they have small events, they will sometimes go to the Blitz store, and that's always nice to see. So maybe that will happen with Swarm, and then you can start focusing, your campaign farming on another character. I will say campaign farming is probably the longest farm, so you also want to be sharp with that as well. But you have a little bit of variation when it comes to that stuff, and yeah, for the most part. All right, so next up we have Phoenix. Phoenix requires Mystic Villain controllers. Currently there are 6 in the game. I would say that these 5 are probably your best to go through and use because you will have access to them earlier. But, leveling up Hand Assassin sucks. She's not very good. Same with Nobu. So if you want to sub in Hela, if you have that node available, you can. But I think you should probably have Phoenix before you get to Villains 7. But, to each their own. But yeah, we have Ronin, Mordo, Nobu, Hand Assassin, Loki, and Hela. I'm just emphasizing Hand Assassin because the hand people look alike, not because they're ancient Chinese order, but because they all wear red face masks. So Ronin is in the raid store / raid orb. Mordo is in the arena store. Nobu is in war and a node farm. I would get him through the node farm just because war credits are they are rare. Hand Assassin is a node. Loki is a node, and Hela is a node. You need Loki and Hela to unlock Black Bull anyway, so if you do want to go that route and skip out on Hand Assassin, it's really not a bad idea. I just think it will take you a little bit longer to unlock Phoenix. But Phoenix is also really great in this game. I would think she's top 5 characters, so you really don't want to miss out on her if you have access to her. No Blitz characters in this, that sucks. I don't know if we'll be getting a new Mystic Villain controller soon. I hope we do, because I like when characters you're able to farm them through the Blitz store. Blitz characters I get done right away, so they're the easiest to farm. So I always like when free-to-play people or newer people have access to these N-tier legendary characters. That's it for Phoenix. Again, I would recommend these 5, and then you can possibly do Hela, but these should be your first options. Next up, we have Shuri. Shuri requires Spider-Verse. I think Shuri should be one of the first characters that you actually can unlock in this game. The reason why I say that is because 3 of the characters that are required for her are in the Blitz store. We have Rhino, Miles, and Spider-Man. I know a lot of people decide to. You can also go the the Sinister Six route for her and not worry about the Spider-Verse characters. But I think go the Sinister Six route. Once you finish farming Rhino and you're going for Shuri, then go for Miles and then go for Spider-Man. It'll help make your farm for Shuri a little bit less. But yeah, here's the first 5 I would recommend and who I would go for if I was starting the game fresh. So like I said, we've already gone over Sinister Six, but let's do it again. Rhino, Miles, and Spider-Man are in the Blitz store. Mysterio is in the Raid Orb. Vulture's in the Arena store. We have Green Goblin, who is a node. We have Shocker, who's a node. Venom, who's a node. Carnage is in the War store. I would say Carnage is probably the last character that you want to be farming for legendaries. There's a lot of, terrible characters in the War store, but Carnage is probably one of the last ones you want to be farming. Definitely don't farm Shield Operative or Ravager Bruiser or whoever else is in there that's a minion. You want to be worried about the characters, the actual heroes and villains that are in that store. But Carnage should definitely be one of your last people you go for Shuri. So yeah, basically these first 8, and then if Symbiote Spider-Man is in the Milestone Orb soon, then maybe you can go for him. It's probably not reasonable to get him to 7 stars to unlock her, but if you want to go that route, you can. And then we have Doc Ock, Swarm, and Electro, as I've mentioned before. Next up, we have Magneto. The easiest character to farm in this is Wolverine, because you will passively get him just by completing your dailies, which is nice. Then we have Toad, who's in the Blitz store. Sabretooth and Cyclops are in the Raid store and Raid Orbs. So that's why I kind of recommend, if you're newer and not laser focused, go for Raid Orbs, just because it's the best bet. Then you can either go for Juggernaut or Blob in the Arena store. Then you have your campaign nodes, which is Mystique, Psylocke, Storm, Colossus, and then Pyro's in the War store. Farm Carnage over Pyro, especially for this event. Then you can also use Phoenix, as opposed to, you know, farming a campaign node or an arena store. And then Beast just doesn't have, he's not out yet to be farmed. I will say, when I actually 7-starred my Magneto, I used Phoenix just because I had my Mystic Villain controllers more readily available than I did the X-Men or Brotherhood. So that's who he requires, X-Men or Brotherhood. Some guy in the past was like, well, Strife can be used. No, Strife is just a mutant villain. He can't be used. It has to be either the X-Men or Brotherhood tag. I will say Juggernaut is not a mutant. He's a mystic character, so don't get confused on that. But these first 5 I would recommend. And then if you want to go the campaign node route, these last 4 aren't bad either. Mystique is probably your best bet, though, when it comes to that. Next up, we have Nick Fury. Nick Fury, there's only 5 options for Nick Fury. That's Kree minions. I don't think there's going to ever put another Kree minion in the game, so this is basically who you have to count on. We have Kree Royal Guard, Kree Oracle, Kree Reaper, Kree Cyborg, and Kree Noble. The good thing about this farm, Kree Royal Guard is in the Blitz store, Kree Oracle is in the Raid store / Raid Orb. Kree Noble has 1 campaign node, Kree Reaper and Kree Cyborg have 2. So they should be a little bit easier to farm. Your hardest farm when it comes to Nick Fury will be Kree Noble. So just know that going in. It really isn't too bad of a farm. I remember farming for Nick Fury, and it really wasn't that bad. But I would say you will probably passively get Nick Fury. He's really not one of those top characters anymore. But yeah, next up we have Starlord. Starlord requires Guardians of the Galaxy or Ravagers. He is actually a pretty easy farm. He should be one of the first legendary characters you should go for, just because Guardians is still a valid team. You have BKT, which is best Kree team, which is Rocket, Groot, Minerva, Thanos, and Starlord, which is also a really good team. It's a good U6 team. It's a great U6 team, actually. But your easiest farm is probably going to be Mantis, Ravager, Boomer, Gamora, Rocket, and Ravager Stitcher. Mantis, Ravager, Boomer, and Gamora are in the Blitz store / Blitz Orbs. Again, easiest store in the game to farm. Then Rocket and Ravager Stitcher are in the Raid Orb / Raid store. Again, that's why I recommend going for Raid Orbs. Then Drax is in Arena, Yondu, Groot, and Ravager Bruiser are in the campaign nodes, and then Ravager Bruiser is also in the War store, but do not go for him in the War store. Please save your War credits for the better characters. Save them for the Sif, save them for X-23, and then save them. There's another character. I'll think of it eventually, but Sif and X-23 should be your priorities in the War store, especially. So yeah, pretty easy farm. I know a lot of people say you should go for Groot just because you will use him in Guardians. I think the best, again, if you're just starting off, if you were just started today and wanted to know where to go the Raid Orb route. But if you go for the campaign node, you won't be making a mistake or anything like that. I will say we're gonna end off with Iron Man. I really hope they make Nick Fury and Star-Lord like Iron Man, where you are readily able to access them. Just because we have a lot of legendary characters, and I don't think, you know, some of them should be behind timed events and stuff. It just sucks, and it's not really free-to-play friendly, but events do come around quite often for them. But I do just wish they were readily available, so when you get 7-star Guardians or Ravagers, you have access to Star-Lord. So finally, we have Iron Man. He requires shield characters. As you can see, here are all the shield characters. I believe that this is probably your easiest farm right here. You're going to need Quake for unlocking Ebony Maw anyways. I'm not going to go into specifics where all these characters are. I know Ravager Trooper is in the Raid Orb. I know Shield Security is in the Arena store and also has his own node, I believe. I think Shield Medic has 2 nodes. See, I haven't looked into this. Hawkeye might have 2 nodes. Captain America might have 2 nodes. Shield Operative is in the is in a node and then is also in the War store. Don't go for her in the War store. I guess I will go through all of these. Shield Assault is a node farm, I believe. Black Widow's a node farm. She's a later. I believe she's Hero 7. Nick Fury is a legendary character. So if you want to wait to get Iron Man until you have Nick Fury, I don't think that's a bad option. And then really Coulson and Yo-Yo are pretty hard. You can't really farm them. But yeah, this is probably the first 5 I would go for when it comes to Iron Man, but I would not prioritize Iron Man. If I was starting off, I would probably go for Shuri and for Starlord, just because I think they're easily accessible. So that's going to do it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know where you guys are at with your legendary characters. Let me know if you think I made a misstep with this. Let me know if I missed out on a character, and please make a note of it. Sometimes, you know, characters slip my mind. my mind. So, but for the most part, I feel like this is a good guide for you guys. Let me know if you think I made a misstep, though. On this channel, I do guides, I do orb openings, I do giveaways, I do all sorts of Marvel Strike Force stuff. So make sure you're subscribed, hit that like button, all that other great stuff. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.